It is officially 2020. Most people are busy this time of year, and January is typically a dumping ground for theatrically released films. So, we need to come up with an idea for a video. Preferably something creative, original, just really paradigm shifting. I've got it. Top 10 films of 2019. Why didn't I think of this before? Let's do this. I think we're ready. Let's go on this journey together. Okay, coming in hot at number 10 is Ready or Not. This is a film that I reviewed last year and I really enjoyed it, and I still love it. I love it enough to include it on my top 10 list. Ready or Not is a good movie. It's fun, it's funny, it's dark, and it's thrilling. Everything you need. This is a movie that I think actually gets better on repeat viewings. The movie is absurd, yes, but that's kind of what makes it great. And the more and more you watch Ready or Not, the more you appreciate the absurdity and the more it really starts to work for you. So, Ready or Not, number 10. At number 9, we have Booksmart, directorial debut by Olivia Wilde. Really, really great coming of age film. Fantastically directed, fantastically acted. This movie is a really, really good human story, and I like those kind of movies. So, Booksmart to me was another one of these movies that really stands out because it has been a great past few years for coming of age films such as The Edge of 17, Lady Bird, 8th Grade, and last year it was Booksmart. And Booksmart deserves a spot on this list. Number 9, very good. Check it out. Number 8 is Us. Wow. What a movie. None of us thought that Jordan Peele could match Get Out. So the fact that Us came out and it matched Get Out and it was still a great film in its own right was the best surprise to everyone, myself included. I love Us. I think I might actually like it better than Get Out because Us is a film that demands repeat viewings. And it demands repeat viewings because it is a movie that encourages audience theorizing, and what you deduce from the film in terms of meaning is honestly up to you. It can vary depending on who's watching the movie, and I think that's awesome. I think that's what's one of the biggest strengths about this film is that anybody can take something different from it. Nobody is going to take the same thing away from this film. Everybody is going to have a different reading of Us, and I think that's really cool. But it is also a very well made film. It's very well directed. The performances are fantastic. Lupita Nyong'o, fantastic. Winston Duke shows off his comedic chops. He's such a delight. Us is a great movie, worthy inclusion on this list. Coming in at number 7 is The Lighthouse. I know that this movie was not everybody's cup of tea, but you know what? I really enjoyed this movie. I found myself liking it because of how surreal it was. And what I really like about The Lighthouse, apart from the fact that it is more of a psychological thriller, is that The Lighthouse is a movie that feels like it was made during the time it takes place in. And to me, that's really cool. And it goes back to the traditional aspect ratio of 16:9. Not everybody will like that decision, but it worked for me because of the aesthetic of the film and the setting. But The Lighthouse, I think, was a movie that I really, really enjoyed. So, number 6, Uncut Gems. Here's the thing, Uncut Gems is a really, really good drama. It is a really, really good crime film. And you would be surprised if I told you that Uncut Gems, the crime film directed by the Safdie brothers, the same directors who directed Good Times, starring the future best live action Batman, Robert Pattinson, these two returned this year after their kind of low-key hit in good time in 2017. They came back last year with their big hit, Uncut Gems, and it has a career best performance from Adam Sandler. Yes, believe the hype, believe everything you're hearing. It is that good. Adam Sandler's performance has a gravity and layers to it that I have just never seen him channel before, and it is so compelling. And this movie is so compelling. It's thrilling to watch. The third act of Uncut Gems is like the visual representation of a panic attack. And I would know. I would know. Okay? Because it is really, really tense, but at the same time, you can't look away. You can't help but stay engaged with it. So it is a really, really good film. And Uncut Gems, definitely top 10 of the year for me. Coming in at number 5 is Parasite. Look, a lot of people have talked about this movie, true connoisseurs of cinema, if you will. And look, Parasite really is as good as everybody's saying it is. Okay, there are much better reviews about it than I could give you. And that's not what this video is. I'm not reviewing every single one of these movies. I'm just kind of explaining why they're on this list. But Parasite, nevertheless, is a movie that deserves to be on this list. It is a really interesting movie. It is a movie that goes so far out of its way to make you hate the respective characters, but at the same time, you can't help but root for them in a weird way. And I think the character work that was done in this movie is just really interesting, but it is also a really well-told and unique story. I highly recommend that you watch it. Parasite is a really good film, and I really, really hope that they do not go through with that American remake of it. Number 4 is The Peanut Butter Falcon. Look, this is a simple movie. It's a very small movie. Shia LaBeouf, best performance of his career. Man, can that man act. This was a really moving film to me. I thought it was a really, really heartwarming movie. Again, simple plot, but I don't really care about that. The Peanut Butter Falcon is about people. It is about Shia LaBeouf playing this man on the run, and he meets this kid with Down syndrome, and his biggest dream is to just meet his hero, who happens to be a wrestler. And the entire movie is driven by the idea of getting this kid to meet his hero, but that's not really what the movie's about. What the movie is about the growing relationship between these two characters, and the Peanut Butter Falcon develops its characters in such a beautiful and honest way that feels so natural and true to real life relationships. I can't help but be moved by this movie. It's really small, but it is so effective, and I love it. Number 3, Little Women. This movie is a masterpiece, by far the best adaptation of this classic novel. Greta Gerwig deserves a Best Director nomination for this film. The character work that she does here is fantastic, but her direction is nothing to scoff at either. She directs the hell out of this movie. Those sweeping shots of the river, the way she establishes the setting, the dynamic camera work in New York, all of it is just fantastic. The costuming, the screenplay. I like slow, dramatic movies that take their time when they're well written, and that is exactly what Little Women is. It kept me engaged from start to finish, and I highly recommend it to everybody. This movie is fantastic. I truly feel bad for the Academy for trying to decide between Saoirse Ronan, Florence Pugh, Laura Dern, and Emma Watson for Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress, because in my opinion, they all deserve it. Everybody in this film brings their A game, and rightly so, because this movie is good. Number 2 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Look, I know this movie had its detractors, but I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I have said it before, and I'll say it again. I do not care that there wasn't really a plot to the movie. I like movies about people, and the characters of Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth and Sharon Tate, just getting to hang out with them, I felt like I was placed in 1969 Hollywood, and I love that. This is Quentin Tarantino's best film. I don't care. Look, I like some of his other work. I like Pulp Fiction. I like Inglourious Bastards. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the defining Quentin Tarantino film as of right now. And it is worth all the praise. Brad Pitt steals the show. DiCaprio was great, but this is Brad Pitt's film. Make no mistake about that. I love this movie. Number 2. Number 1, you guys knew it was coming. It's Knives Out. Knives Out is a perfect movie, at least in my eyes. It's about as close as it can get anyway. There is not a single setup in Knives Out that isn't paid off at the end of the film. The performances are fantastic. The ensemble cast is perfect. Rian Johnson's direction is as good as ever. The set pieces, the production design, the costuming, the blocking, the cinematography, it is all just so good. It comes together, and as I've said before in my review, Knives Out is masterful visual storytelling. Rian Johnson stays true to the genre of whodunit, but at the same time he plays with the conventions and the tropes, asking not so much whodunit, but how or why, really. And there's nothing more that I can say about Knives Out that I haven't already said, but I will say this. The fact that the movie is still selling out theaters 6 weeks after its initial release says enough. Go watch Knives Out. It is my favorite film of 2019. I love it so much, and I recommend it to everybody. Some quick honorable mentions would have to be The Farewell. Really liked that. Again, nice, intimate family drama. Toy Story 4, fantastic movie. Look, I loved Toy Story 4 as much as the ending broke my heart and I felt like it kind of undermined the first 3 Toy Story films. The fact is, Toy Story 4 is a monumental achievement because it is a movie that had no good reason to exist, yet still managed to be not only a good movie, but tell a meaningful story and sort of recontextualize the entire Toy Story franchise as being Woody's story. We thought it was something else, but it was actually Woody's story. And I think that's really interesting. Another honorable mention would be Avengers Endgame. Look, I loved Captain Marvel. I like Shazam. And do I think they were both great at their respective objectives? Absolutely. But Avengers Endgame, to deny that it was an achievement would be ridiculous. The amount of payoff and visual spectacle that went into Avengers Endgame is undeniable. It deserves a spot, at least as an honorable mention. So, those are some of my favorite films of 2019. I am sure that I forgot some, especially when it comes to honorable mentions, but as far as my top 10 goes, that is completely solidified. So, thank you for watching, everybody. Welcome to the new year, and I will have a very, very interesting video coming for you in a couple of weeks. I promise that. Thank you for watching once again. Goodbye, and may your heart be your guiding key. I will see you next time.